stand up. It's just a thing you get used to doing. You know, like you're used to fighting. Like for you, I'm sure you get heightened senses and you get fired up and your adrenaline kicks in. But this is a normal thing for you. There's people that just would completely freeze and not even be able to walk into the cage.
Oh yeah,
they would have a panic attack. But you've done it so many times. I think that's the kind of the case with all things that are difficult to do.
Yeah, I that too, and it's like a skill you have to learn because like Donald Cerrone, for example, did it how many times? And like I was in the backstage of his last fight. I fought I don't remember who I fought, but I was in the back room. He was walking out before me. He was warming up, and he just looked not scared. I don't know if they were nervous, like had this anxious energy, and he's done it more than anyone. But it's just like, I
think if you want to fight well, that never really goes away. I think you have confidence, and I think you control it, and I think the best guys learn how to handle it. But you know, when you're looking at like Alex Pereira looking at Stylebender in the face-off, like there has to be some crazy heightened sense of tension and awareness in the moment, and it's a crazy big fight. I don't think you get away with that without not having that.
Yeah.
I think everybody has it. It's just some people handle it better. And I think the guys that don't have it, I think sometimes they get in trouble. Like some fights I've seen guys where they're just a little too calm, a little too confident, and then they get lit up. Yeah. It's almost like they can't wake themselves up.
Interesting. Yeah. For me, that last fight going in there with Peter, I just felt... I felt no nerves. I felt so calm. Like, and I've had nerves. I've had fights like my debut when I fought Terry on Ware. I remember like in the backstage, like closing my eyes too long, and I was thinking like, if I lose this and then lose one more, I could get cut. Like having that thought vividly, and I was like, whoa, fuck that. Okay, we'll like counter that obviously with some positive shit. But going into that last fight, I had zero nerves. I don't know if it was. I didn't feel like it was a win-win. I'm like, I wasn't thinking like, oh, if I lose to Peter, like no one's gonna care. It was just. I don't know what it was, but I felt it was confidence. Obviously, I had a really good training camp, had a good everything, weight cut, but I wasn't nervous to lose. But it wasn't because it was like to Peter. It just wasn't. I don't know.
You just had gotten into a good headspace to compete. Maybe, maybe just like much better now at getting in the right headspace that allows you to compete at your best. Yeah. Because if you think about it, thinking about all those other things, those are not beneficial. And you've experienced those in the past, and you learn from it. Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like there's these moments in life where you could think the wrong way and just go off the rails, or you could manage it.
Yeah. It's a skill. It's a mental skill, and I attribute that to all the things I do in preparation leading up to fights. And I've had so many training camps now. I think that was my 10th fight in the UFC, and then I had a ton of fights before that. But I think it's just learning each camp a little bit more to prepare yourself for that specific moment. Yeah. Fights are fucking weird because I had no plans for October 23rd. The fight was October 22nd. Like it's just like you just plan on not dying, but you're just like there's nothing else that matters. For 12 weeks, I knew I was fighting him for a long time, over 3 months. There was just nothing. Like October 22nd was that date. Nothing else mattered. It's crazy what kind of headspace you get into fight camp, and then after fight camp, it takes me like 2-3 weeks. Like we're 4 weeks out tomorrow from that last fight to get back to just normal thinking and just being at home, being a dad, it's a weird mind space you get into in fight camp. Yeah, it's just a very disciplined mindset. And then I know some fighters that don't really train and take it as serious, but everyone's different.
Well, I think you're figuring out how to do it right for you. Yeah. You're dialing it in, and I think the way you're doing it is the right way. I think it's the only way you make those big leaps. I mean, you're in a fucking shark-infested pond, man. Yeah. That is such a shark-filled section of MMA. That 135-pound division is wild, man. Yeah. And no one weighs 135 pounds.
Dude, Aljo, I heard Aljo say he was like 170 or something the other day.
Aljo's so big.
I'm like, what the fuck? No wonder he doesn't want to fight till July.
Build is like the perfect 135 pound. Like, you can't get any bigger, any leaner. Yeah. It's like, there's like tweeners. Like, I think Diego Sanchez was always a tweener. He was like a little bit too small for 55. And, you know, when he tried to make 45, like, that was way too much of a weight cut.
Yeah.
And at 70, like, I think he was small for those guys. He beat a lot of good guys at all those weight classes. Like, Diego in his prime but he was just an animal. And I was like, if there was a 160-pound division, like, somewhere in that range.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that'd be sweet if they had more divisions. I know you guys always talk about that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I think it should be every 10 pounds.
Yeah, it makes sense. 65, what is it, 75?
Yeah.
85, yeah.